what are you saying to yourself in the mirror when you look in the mirror? Because that is so important. If you're saying negative things, especially as moms, that's going to flow into you being a mom. That's going to flow into you being a wife. So it is so important to speak positivity to yourself. A lot of times we don't do that because we're hard on ourselves, you know? A lot of people underestimate what they can do. And then again, having a coach, having a trainer can kind of show you, you can go do a little bit more than that, you know? You want to grab the 15s, we're going to grab the 20s today. Because, you know, you're going to take the easy way out. I just feel like confidence comes from doing hard things. And I feel like lifting weights is hard.
Most people are trying to make life easier. Stephanie Newcomb is telling people to do the opposite. Embrace the hard truth about food, discipline, strength, and the stories we've been told, especially as women, about what our bodies are supposed to be. Stephanie built Unleashed Health and Fitness in Roland, Arkansas around that idea. A place where women lift heavy, think differently about nutrition, and start to realize they're capable of a lot more than they were told. And now, with the UHF app, she's taking that same mindset beyond the walls of the gym. So how exactly does that work? How do you transform yourself into someone who can handle hard? I mean, my experience with strength training, because I feel like that's kind of at the forefront of what you do, right?
Yes.
And it's definitely been at the forefront of my recovery since my diagnosis and my treatment. It's like I used to do Pilates. I did a stupid amount of cardio for years. Mm-hmm. You know, when we were told that was that skinny was, you know, the goal, and it's like, how scrawny and small can you make yourself?
Yeah.
So I definitely drank the Kool-Aid on that until, you know, I hit this huge speed bump in my life and suddenly realized, oh my God, no, I need to I've been doing this wrong and I need to rebuild. And even the Pilates trainers that I had, who were really inspiring, like my favorite trainers, I would ask them, what are you doing? Are you doing Pilates? And they're like, no, I'm lifting. And I'm like, you need to up your protein too. And it's like, oh, why aren't women telling each other this?
Yeah. And it's like with Pilates, you're not moving past a certain weight. And so your body adapts to that. And it might like be kind of helpful in the beginning, but you don't have that progressive overload. And so then your body just adapts. And then there's like, you know, it's almost like you have to stress your body out to build that muscle, you know? And I don't feel like with Pilates you can do that, you know?
No. Or at least I don't think they push you to that level. And maybe if you're doing one-on-ones, then they can really kind of customize it to you. But I think if you're doing what most of us used to do, which is group classes, then you're there with, you kind of go through the motions and you break a sweat. But after,
for sure.
Do I really feel a change in my body? Maybe a little bit, like it's better than nothing. But I think, your dedication to health and fitness and the fact that you converted your barn into your gym. It's so badass. What's that experience like? What is it like to walk into your gym? Because it's not a regular gym.
No, it's not. I'm so very thankful for it because it's an outlet for me for sure. And it's rewarding just the women that come in there and work hard, because I'll be honest, I push you. I just feel like people need that push because we're capable of more than what we think we can do. And so it's important to have that person push you. But the gym is just, it's grown so much. Like I'm about to turn 10. So I kind of have been like thinking back to when I just started. And I'll be honest, I had friends telling me, you're so stupid. No one's ever going to drive out there because I'm not in the city. You know, I'm away from the city. So you do have to drive away. But I had one friend was like, you don't know until you just go for it. And so I did. And then 10 years later, you know, I've expanded and things have grown so much. So I'm super thankful. And I'm just blessed when I walk in. It's, I'm just super thankful for the clients that I have because I have really good relationships with all of them. And even yesterday, I had two come in and they bitched the entire time. And then afterwards, they were apologizing, but I'm like, that's part of therapy. Like working out is therapy. And it's important for me for them to be comfortable. And so obviously my clients do feel comfortable to be able to just let things out when they're working out. So yeah, so it's been a really cool journey and I'm super blessed for sure.
I think therapy is such a key word when it comes to weight training, because this idea of having to finding your max,
Yeah.
you have to push, you have to kind of cross your limit to find it to some level. And you have you have to dig deep. You have to go to this you have to find that strength within, or that bottom, whatever it is. And there's, at least in my experience, some level of I didn't realize how much tension and emotional stress I've been holding in my body until I get into the gym with my trainer. And he's pushing me. And then, I kept having this one recurring thing in my mid back. And I remember him asking me, we tried all these different things, and he's an incredible trainer. And he said, this is going to sound weird, but he knows we have a baby. He knows we have a toddler. And he's like, hey, outside of you and your husband, what does your support system look like? And I just started crying. And he's like, that's typically where people, when they're kind of overwhelmed, when they're carrying everything, that's where that you hold that.
That's so true. So true.
It almost makes me want to cry again, because it's such an of just how much we need to be doing this. Men, women. I don't know if you found a difference, if your clients are mostly women or they skew kind of both genders.
It is 99% women. I have one male. Well, I have my boys, but I don't count that. But I have one male client, and he's just a husband of another client. So, and he's older, and he pushes, and he's in there just doing the best he can. You know what I mean? And he's made it he couldn't even squat when he first started. And now he's squatting and barbell pressing and all the things. So, but yeah, it's mainly women. And my heart, I love men too, but my heart is for women for sure.
I think that's where I think the education goes the longest way is women kind of spreading this word of you will find the greatest reward physically, mentally, emotionally, weight training.
So true.
Do you find yourself kind of getting that message out a lot? Is that what people need to hear? What do women need to hear today about?
I think you kind of hit it in the beginning about how we've been through these fads about running and cardio, and that is a passion of mine to change people's minds on that. I literally had a client a week ago. She was just like, I got to start doing cardio. I got to start running. And yes, you need to do cardio. And really, it's all the things. It's strength training, zone 2 cardio, protein, eating right. It's all the things. Sleep. So it's really not one specific thing, I feel like. But it's definitely not just, you got to run every day. You know what I mean? And to me, you do need conditioning, because as we get older, we stop jumping, we stop doing quick, fast things, and all those things are still important for longevity, So I do think you need 20 minutes a week of conditioning. But then again, there's the fad of all the HIIT exercises, and that's the way to go. So I think HIIT is okay if you're only doing it 20 minutes a week. But yeah, it is really my passion about strength training, because that is where it's at. That is where longevity comes in. And I look at my mom. My mom is 72 and she lifts weights. I train her 3 days a week.
Wow.
And I strive to be like that. You know what I mean? I want to be 72 and I still want to be kicking ass. And I plan on it. So I think it's really just, Yeah, I'm with you with when you talk about like spreading the word, because I just feel like some people's mentality is still the cardio and still the HIIT classes. It's almost like people think they have to feel like they're dying for the workout to be good. And it's just not the case. You know, you can still have a really good lift session and not even be that sweaty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really just, I want to do that. That is my goal, is to really just change people's mindset. And I try to live that and show that as much as I can. And I think that's the best way, is just living it and showing other people, because they'll see it, you know?
Yeah, I think a huge part of the lifting conversation is like the B side of that is getting the protein. So you've exerted, you've done the work, and now it's like the right fuel. Getting enough protein to make those workouts worthwhile.
Yes.
And that's the part where if I look at my day, the day today, I kind of have to check in and be like, what did I eat today? Like, what was my protein? I try to get protein in at every meal, every snack. I'm trying.
Yeah.
But
it's hard.
It's hard. And when you start counting it, and I'm not someone who likes to track calories, I get inside my head. I get disappointed quickly when I don't have a perfect day. Oh my God, we're done. But I still continue to train because I love the exertion. But I notice when I don't put in the same amount of dedication into getting enough protein, well, I'm not going to get the results that I need. I'm not going to have the energy to get through my day of, you know, getting through the work of raising my kids, of, you know, doing everything I need to do with my husband, work-wise, family-wise, personally. So can you tell me a little bit about what that looks like for you? You look like you're getting enough protein. You look incredible.
Well, thank you. But like you said, it's not easy. And I do count calories, and I used to be where you are. And I think because of the phase of life that you are in with having littles, it's so much harder. It's just something else to think about when you have a million other things to think about. But for me, it just helps me to see it, like on the app, to know where I'm at. So say tomorrow morning, I'll already kind of have it planned out what I'm going to eat and go ahead and enter it in. And that kind of sets me up to succeed because it's already locked in there. But you said it, like getting protein with every single meal is so important, because that's what's going to build your muscle, is the protein. And I feel like that's where everybody slacks, is the protein. And the eating part is honestly the hardest part. The working out to me is way easier because, you know, you have to be more controlled, and like, it's easy when you're cooking just to throw things in your mouth too, and not realizing those are calories too, you know, all that stuff adds up. But I think it's just planning and making sure every time you put something in your mouth that it is, you know, protein. And that's why the grip bar has been a huge blessing to me, because I start at 6 a.m. Well, I work out and then I start seeing clients at 6, and I am client after client until noon, and I don't have time to stop and eat anything. And I don't want my nutrition to not be right, you know? So the fact that the bar has 25 grams of protein really sets me up. I mean, that's basically a meal, you know, and the calories are low, the ingredients is right on. But also I think that carbs are good for you. Mm-hmm. And that's where people like think, you know, they're not supposed to eat carbs. It's just making sure you get the protein in before the carbs. And I think that's where people go wrong. And, you know, breakfast is usually cereal or toast or whatever. And I have really found that when you start your morning with protein, it does fuel you. It does give you energy. And so that's just something else I think that people don't understand.
I've actually been thank you. I've been teaching that to our toddler, to our 3.5-year-old. You know,
that's awesome.
Ask for, I mean, she's always asking for something sweet, but in the morning we would give her like a waffle or a pancake. And by the end of the day, we come to pick her up from preschool, and she is grumpy. You know, she's so irritable. And I tell her, okay, now remember this feeling. Now, what did you have for breakfast? And the next day we'll do scrambled eggs with cheese and fruit. And then I pick her up from school and it's a completely different toddler. And
That is so cool.
remember what you ate for breakfast. So now I ask her, and we always give her the option, what would you like to eat? And now every day it's like, she asks for milk, and then 30 minutes later, scrambled eggs with cheese and fruit.
That's awesome.
If my mom didn't know, and she was a very conscious mother, we just didn't know, I think, the importance of setting up our blood sugar first thing in the morning.
I mean, I grew up the same way. It was Pop-Tarts or whatever for breakfast.
Frosted Flakes.
Whatever is easy. Yeah. Yes. That was my favorite cereal. But also, I think that we overthink it too, because, and this is literally what I will do. Sometimes I will make sausage the night before and just put it in the fridge and have that as my first thing in the morning. So it's really just trying to find little things, little steps to kind of set you up for success. You know what I mean? And having that bar is a great way to have to lean on that, because the protein is amazing. And I know I keep saying that, but there isn't another bar out there that is clean like that and has that much protein in it. But yeah, I think you just need to figure out what works for you and the best little steps to get you there, and you don't have to count calories. I just think you have to be mindful of what you're putting in your mouth and making sure you're getting the protein in. And really it's best to have, a gram basically per body weight. That's what I try to get anyway.
Is the 1 gram for maintenance, or is that just to maintain your muscle mass?
I think so, yes.
I am not hitting that target.
It's hard. It really is.
It's hard.
And I try to eat things that are really, really high, like tuna, salmon, things that are super high. And when you do that, it does make it a little bit better. I find that red meat is not as high. Like ground beef, and I personally can't eat ground beef because it irritates my stomach, but I'll eat ground turkey, and that's really high in protein and low in calories. So you really just have to figure out what's best, for your body type and what works for you, because, obviously we're all different.
Do you find that carbs are necessary to put on muscle?
That's a really good question. I do feel like you do need the carbs. I don't feel like, I mean, I'll be really honest. I probably don't eat that much carbs every single day. I probably have some days that are a little bit higher, but things like sweet potatoes, and I mean, potatoes are good. It's just the portion size is where it's at. You know what I mean? I always like half my plate to be protein, and then a quarter of veggies, and then carbs. But I never eat carbs at lunch. I don't eat that many carbs. So I don't know. I think it's necessary, but I don't think it's necessary every day.
Okay. It's interesting, your dish breakdown, because I think usually they say make half of your plate veggies and this and that, and you're like, no, the protein is the meal. Everything.
I mean, somebody's probably going to disagree with me on that, but I just feel you realize how hard it is to hit it. So that's why I'm just I try to make sure, and I eat a lot of protein. I mean, I eat probably the majority of my protein at lunch. That's always my biggest meal, is lunchtime.
Is it difficult? Because I know you're raising boys, and they probably have, are they on a similar lifestyle, nutritionally?
Yes. I mean, we're pretty much gluten-free. My middle one does not eat meats. Let's take that back. So I actually didn't start eating meat until a year ago. I only had fish and eggs. Yeah. And boy, can I tell a difference since I have been eating meat, just in the leanness and, muscular. I can tell a huge difference. But besides him not eating meat, yeah, they're pretty much the same. I mean, I cook all their meals, so they're basically eating what I'm eating.
That's really cool. And that's amazing that with everything that you have going on with Unleashed Health and Fitness and the app coming out soon and all of your clients, that you still make the time to cook your meals.
I'm in the kitchen. When I am home, that is where I am at. And I come home from work, I make everyone lunch because we homeschool. And then I feel like I'm literally turning around and cleaning up and making dinner. We also eat very early. I'm a big don't eat 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. My kids think I'm crazy, but it just helps. It actually helps you sleep better. It's better for your digestion. So yeah, we eat really early.
How much sleep do you get, or do you recommend getting to really maximize longevity and, putting on muscle and just health in general?
I feel like 8 hours is where it's at, but obviously that is really hard to do. A lot of times I mainly get 7 hours, anywhere from 7 to 7.5 hours. I try every night. So it's, people fail to think about sleep. I mean, that is really important. It's important for lots of reasons, but it's even when you're coming to the gym, if you've only had 4 to 5 hours of sleep, you're not going to be able to perform as well as if you had 8, you know what I mean? And it really affects your entire day. So yeah, sleep is important.
I also find when I don't get enough sleep, I wake up with an incredible craving for carbs.
That is so true.
Screw myself for the day. I've been stuck in this downward spiral. Just spiking my blood sugar just to stay awake, just to kind of get power through the day. But Stephanie, did you always look this way? Like, did you always look this incredible?
No, I appreciate that. I'm actually going to be posting it soon. I went back to look for a picture of when I started UHF. And this just will prove to you, when I started, that was kind of the hit moment. Like everyone was doing HIIT. And when you become a trainer, unless you have a mentor, you're really on your own and you're just trying to figure it out. And I have grown so much, obviously, and that's a good thing, in 10 years. But I look back and I was not weight training when I started like I am now. And there is a huge difference. I just look soft and, there's no definition. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess I've always been thin, I guess. We go through things in life where we're kind of hormonal and things change that a little bit. But really in the past, I guess really 3 years. So I have a pain-free certification and I just train in a certain way just to keep you pain-free. And I've done that consistently for about 4 years now. And that what has really changed, I think, my life. And then also just tracking calories and getting the protein in. That's been just in the past year. So
what is pain-free training? Is that I've never heard.
So it is just a format of how we train. We have like a focus of the day. So you'll have like a strength move, which will be your heaviest thing that you do during your workout. And then everything else is hypertrophy, which is the cutness of the muscle, which will be higher reps. So like your strength is lower reps and then hypertrophy is higher. There's a squat focus day, a push focus day, and a hinge. And then that's like your strength move. We warm up. We do things to get you ready for your strength move of the day. My husband would kill me for saying this, but I'm going to. But like, he went to work out this morning and he just got on the bike to warm up. That is not how we warm up. Like, you have to specifically do moves to set yourself up for what you're about to do. That's so hard. Like we talked about earlier about pushing yourself beyond what you think you can do. So we always foam roll first. If we are pushing, if that's our focus, then we're doing band pulls and things like that to get us ready. And then we always end the warm up with something twitchy to kind of like wake your nervous system up and get your body ready to work. So that's just doing something really fast, and that could be like a ball slam or something like that. So that's kind of the basis of it.
That's really cool. Do you train your husband?
No. No, I do not. He just has his own way, and I'm just thankful he works out. Yeah. So I do train my children when they let me. But that goes through waves. They're teenagers.
Oh my God, that is so cool. I would have definitely taken advantage of that if my parents knew. I mean, right now my parents are 71 and 80, and no injuries, no health problems, thank God.
That's so awesome.
They eat very well, and they always have. They've always cooked their meals. And they're active in the sense that, they go on long walks, and they are functional in their lives. So they do their own gardening. My father, who's 80, does a lot of maintenance of their backyard and this, that, and the other, to the point where we're like, if you fall, that's going to be probably, you need to not slow down, but at that age.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah.
But the minute you stop moving, that's actually even scarier.
It really is.
So I've learned a lot by watching them just live their lives of, they've done something right if they've made it that far and they're still going and able to enjoy their lives. And I know my mom, when she started going through menopause, or rather when she was on the other end of it, she was telling me, you need to eat more protein. And specifically, my family eats a lot of red meat, which I'm not always comfortable with. And I don't have the same digestion issue. I just have something in my brain that's like, this feels like a lot of red meat.
Yeah. I can see that.
But I'm now I'm 40, and I know menopause is on the horizon. My mom started at 54, but I had a hysterectomy at 32. And they kind of warned me, like, I had laparoscopic surgery, and they're like, well, and I kept my ovaries. So they're like, you're not going to go into menopause now, but you're probably going to go, you're like a few years earlier than you would have had you not done this surgery. And right now, a lot of my workout, I've noticed, upper body strength good. My legs are really strong. My core sucks. Like right where they cut into my abdomen, like that, it's just not, I'm having a really hard time connecting with that muscle. Maybe some of it is also like emotional trauma that I'm holding there.
Yeah.
But do you experience anything similar to my story and your clients, where they kind of come in and whatever problem area they have is kind of tied to something that they're going through in their lives, that they're grappling with? And how do you train around that? How do you train around trauma?
That is a really good question. It depends on if they share things with me or not for me to even know that there is trauma. An example is I had one client a week ago. She's just really tight all the time. And I feel like stress is, we just carry it in our shoulders. And so I didn't ask if there was anything related to that, but I do feel like that definitely is a thing for people. But it's hard unless they share that with me for me to really know that and to kind of work with that. But if they do have, like for you, like a core, we just do what we can do. There's modifications for everything. And then we just try to modify things and make things better. But also, like, I had a client that just had back surgery a week and a half ago, and she was already back today.
Wow.
And it was a little bit nerve-wracking for me, but only in the sense where she didn't like get discharged, but I knew she needed to be there mentally. Like, she just was tired of being home, and like her job is very sitting and she can't sit for a long time right now, that kind of thing. And so we literally did such minor things, but I let her come because I just knew mentally she needed it. You know what I mean? And it was 30 minutes of bands and barely doing anything, but I know she felt better when she left. Yeah. And that kind of goes back to the therapy thing. I just feel like they're not always sharing things with me, but I mean, I've had one-on-one times where people cry the entire time because of whatever's going on in their life. And yes, sometimes they share things and then sometimes they don't. And I don't really have to know, but I support them, and we slam balls and we do things that we need to do to get that stress out of there. But yeah, I can't really say that anyone's ever told me like a trauma thing that has like been related to that or whatever. But I had a hysterectomy.
You did?
10 years ago. And I kept my ovaries. So that's interesting. And because, you know, they were always like, they're going to shrivel up and die at some point. So I was like, well, when does that happen?
I
asked when do I know that happened?
I ask myself that every day.
I'm like, are they still there? But I mean, I am on hormone therapy, and I do have to say it's a game changer. And it really does help when you start going through menopause. I know everybody has different preferences or opinions on it, but for me personally, it definitely has helped, because I do feel like, I don't know if I've been through menopause or if I'm just premenopausal, but I know there was about 2 weeks of where I wanted to cry and kill somebody at the same time. And I was like having the night sweats and that, and it's completely gone. But I don't know if that was the menopause or if that was just like, here's what's coming or whatever. I don't know. Hormones suck, and I am thankful that there are supplements out there to help you with it.
It is, after a hysterectomy, it is such a mystery box. And especially the closer I got to 40, there was a period where I started to think, I don't feel like myself. Mm-hmm. And my perimenopausal, and nobody could give me a straight answer. They're like, we could take a blood test, but the fluctuations, even if you have that, are not going to be indicative of anything. So that's where the hormone replacement therapy conversation kind of started. And it's like, am I a candidate if my cancer was estrogen sensitive? You know, I really want to be able to take it. Watching my mom go through menopause was brutal. It was very hard on her. It was very hard on the rest of the family too.
That's scary.
So she just raw dogged it, and I don't want to do that if that's what it's going to be. I don't want to, but my fear is that and I don't know the literature on it, and I see my gynoc every 2 years, and they're like, you know, we have a good feeling that you've cleared that hurdle, but I'm scared that if I get on hormones, on the other side of menopause, perimenopause, that I'm going to get breast cancer or something. And it's like,
oh yeah,
what is it to take? Do we know enough, or are we still kind of, figuring it out?
Yeah.
And having gone through this once, I don't want to go through this again.
Yeah, that's understandable for sure.
So
there are lots of questions. Yes. And I am not the one to answer them. I know for me, like, I had to find someone that specializes in hormones, because I just feel like the basic doctor is just educated to a certain level when it comes to hormones. So it is important to have a hormone specialist. And that's what I have. And she's been amazing. But I get what you're saying too. And those are really good questions, and I don't know if there is enough proof out there, on that topic.
I am glad that the work is being done, even if it's happening now, even if we're starting to talk about it now. At least for our daughters, we'll have a clearer picture, in 10 years. And I'm glad that our symptoms aren't being written off.
Yes,
and for such a long time. That it's not just stress. Like women north of 40, I think even as young as 35, some people start to feel the perimenopause, that it's a real thing.
It is.
And it really, I mean, yes, it affects, lifestyle and all of that, but the way we feel about ourselves, brutal.
Yes. We are our own worst enemy. We like to tear ourselves, or we can tear ourselves apart, and that sucks.
With you clients that you train, are they like a certain age range, or are you training your kids and through the whole gamut?
I have an 11-year-old client. So I go from 11 to 72.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I think for me, what makes it really hard is I could have a whole lot more kid clients, which I love training kids. It's just after school. So I used to work in the evenings when I first started, and it's just so hard, especially when you have a family that you want to cook dinner for and whatnot. So, but yeah, I have pretty much a wide range. I think the majority would probably be like 35 to 45 as far as most of my clients. But yeah, I have a wide variety. So it's really nice. Like all my clients are so different and unique, but we're all there for the same reason. And everyone is super supportive, and it's a great small community. Because, we're just there to get stronger, and it's just important to be strong in everyday living. If you want to pick up a bag of dog food, you want to be able to do that and not have to ask for help, I just think that strength training is not optional for longevity. Like, you have to strength train. If you want to live a long, healthy life, strength training is definitely where it's at.
You are such a testament to you can get stronger with as you're progressing through your life. Like, there's such a fear of, well, after 30, you're going to lose 1 pound to 2 muscle a year. So you got to work out just to be able to hold on to what you got. And it's like, no, not true. It's like
I'll just be really honest. I'll be 52 this year, and I am in the best shape I've ever been in my life. But granted, I'm also working hard. I work hard. I eat right. I try to get my sleep, like I said, and I think you need 150 minutes of zone 2 cardio a week. And that's just where you're winded, but you can have a conversation. So that's putting on a weighted vest and going for a walk. That just just walking doesn't make you winded. So putting that vest on makes you winded. So that's why it's like all the things. And I just want people to understand that, because it's like, it's not just one thing. I mean, yes, you need to strength train, but then you also need to eat right, and you need protein. You know what I mean? So, it's really just, I can't stand when people work out and then they eat like crap, because I'm just like, and I'll say that to everyone when they come in there. Like, if I teach a class at the end, I'm like, okay, so think about how hard you just worked in here. Don't go waste it by putting crap in your mouth, because that's just a waste. You can row on the rower for 15 minutes and you're only going to burn like 150 calories. So think about what that is. You know what I mean? Like 15 minutes of hard work, 150 calories is not very much. So I just think about that a lot, like how much work I put into it, and I don't want to just waste it and then go and put crap in my mouth. And then plus you're not going to get the results that you want if you are eating like crap, So
how do you combat cravings?
Oh, so I find, because I do have a sweet tooth, like when I eat something, then I want something sweet after. That's probably the bad thing about me. The Grit bars are great, by the way, for that.
Yeah.
You can take a couple of bites of a Grit bar and then that's satisfied. And that's one thing too. So when you have a craving, like a sweet craving, it only takes like 2 to 3 bites of something for that craving to go away. So you don't have to eat a whole, like, whatever. I find blueberries satisfy me sometimes because blueberries are very sweet and they're a really great fruit. I do like granola and I do eat granola sometimes. But I'll just eat like a yogurt or something like that that is kind of sweet that will satisfy it. But fruit is a great tool that I use all the time, like an apple with almond butter, peanut butter, or whatever. That always seems to help those cravings too. And dark chocolate is good for you. So like dark chocolate, like a little block of dark chocolate, sometimes I'll dip it in peanut butter and then that's like having a Reese's.
Maybe my issue is stress eating, because when I am on a deadline, or when I just really need to do brain work, and the brain runs on sugar, at least that's what I've been told on glucose.
Yeah.
And it's like, if I'm trying to really kind of cut carbs, focus on my protein, do everything right, get my steps and get my workout, and then I sit down to do my work and it's like the light is dim. I'm like, I need to
wake up.
Yeah, I need to perform. I need to do my job. How am I going to do this without taking in enough sugar?
I do think like protein shakes are great. I use that Puree protein powder. Like this morning, so on Tuesdays and Thursdays I start a little bit later, and I'm actually able to be home in the mornings and like make breakfast. And I made a smoothie with peaches and vanilla protein powder, and I forget how filling that is. And like, because I really don't drink protein shakes that much. But like the Grip bars, even something that I've noticed, probably because of the slow release of the protein, is it makes you full longer.
Yeah.
So like, and I literally, like, I don't just sit down and eat it. I take a bite like in between clients. And so it lasts me all morning long, but it also is very satisfying and I'm not wanting anything else. So I think it's like finding those things like that are filling, but still like kind of give you that, because I feel like it'll still give you that momentum that you need, that energy that you need.
Yeah, I've noticed when I start my day with a Grip bar, I am so much better. Like I get that satisfaction. I get the fiber. I get the protein. I usually start my day with water and coffee and get the kids started, and our daughter off to school, and then start my work. Start the day to day, and then I'm not really hungry until 2. And because I have liked my blood sugar, I'm hungry for protein. So pairing that with some veggies and some fruit is usually enough to then take me to dinner. And so I get to like ride this steady energy. But on the days, even when I'm having, eggs, if I have toast and a little bit of butter or something else, and it's like a complete meal, I still somehow, because I just got that spike.
Yeah. And it also makes you want more. Have you noticed that? Like, I love bread. I'm not going to lie. Like, I even, like, because I eat gluten-free bread, but I have a friend that makes the best gluten-free bread, and it's like legit real ingredients. And if I eat a piece of that, it just makes me want another piece. And so that's really why I just try not to eat it, because it's like, the sugar in it, it just makes you want more.
Is the reason why you on your day-to-day have less carbs, like, is that a longevity thing? I've read that we, like the more sugar we have, that it actually expedites our aging. Is that true?
Yeah. I have heard that, and I do think that is a thing. And that is probably part of the reason why. And then again, like what I just said, like I feel like if I do eat something, it just makes me want more of it. It's harder to control to me. Carbs are. Now, don't get me wrong, like rice and potatoes, I can control those fine, but there's not like sugar in that. But like in bread and things like that, I just feel like, I don't know, I just feel like vegetables, fruit, and protein to me is where longevity is. Those are the things that are going to get you there. But then again, I mean, you still need the good ones, the good carbs. But I just think I just don't crave it all the time. I don't feel like I need it all the time. And I just try to, for the most part, because some people are like, think that when you say your body tells you what it needs, I believe in that if you are in tune with your body. And then don't get me wrong. I mean, there are times where we crave something, but that's probably something that's not necessarily ice cream, but like something else, you know what I mean? Like fruit. Maybe you didn't eat enough fruit one day and that's the craving that you're actually having. And it's not actually the ice cream. So I think we're all made differently. And I don't feel like all of us can eat the same because I feel like what works for me may not work for you just because we're made differently. But that's just where I'm at. I mean, my boys eat carbs all the time. I make potatoes and rice and all the things. Those are just things that I can do without. And I rather get it from protein, my calories from protein than carbs, I guess.
You mentioned that your mom is in her 70s. She's kicking ass. Did she teach you all of this growing up? Like, was she cooking all the meals, balance all?
No. I mean, like I said, we were eating Pop-Tarts for breakfast and Frosted Flakes. Like she, now she does. And I don't know. I think for her, when she started having, I guess maybe hormone issues was when she kind of started figuring out her diet better. But I am a certified health coach, and that's kind of how I learned, the things that I learned. And then just, over time, obviously experimenting in different things and eating different ways to kind of know what my body needs. But yeah, I didn't grow up knowing that kind of stuff. And that is like a passion of mine too, is for my boys. And they think I'm crazy and they want to go to crumble cookies sometimes. And I'm like, I'm not taking you. But I know that I'm instilling that in them, and that's important for them to grow up knowing how to eat healthy.
What made you want to become an expert in fitness and health and longevity?
I really think when I started having kids, because my oldest, I stayed home with him, and then that was when I started strength training. And then I had my middle, and then I just loved strength training, and I liked working out, but I also knew the importance of like the food part, like if they kind of go hand in hand. So I did both actually at the same time. I got, I was certified as a health coach first, and then I did my personal training certification. But I just think they both go together. As far as health, they're the same,
When you started working out, were you working with a trainer? Were you just, like lifting barbells at home with the little one, or?
Yeah, I think there was a friend of mine at church, and she lifted weights, and I just asked her questions because I really didn't know a whole lot. And then, you just find different programs like online and stuff. And I just kind of started with that. So
I find that, at least it's been my experience, that if I'm not lifting with a trainer, I tend to hurt myself. And it's all these micro corrections, but they're so beautiful, and I can't see myself in 3D. So even with a mirror, that's not enough. And I also don't have that wealth of knowledge that you guys have of, your forward knee needs to be a little bit more, your back foot needs to be a little more raised. You need to dip a little bit more on your lunge. It's like, oh my God, what was your experience when you started? And what do you recommend for people who are just starting to lift weights?
I mean, it really is good to have a trainer. So let me back up for a second, because now that I'm thinking about it, when I first started, I was just kind of like toying in it, figuring it out myself. But then I just remembered my mom was working out, and she had a trainer, and I went with her. I started going with her like once a week, and learning from him. I I just think it's a great investment. I feel like we spend and blow so much money on stupid things like Starbucks or whatever. And if you really want it, you'll find the money to invest. I mean, it's your health. That's how I look at it. And then also it's the accountability. It's so easy to just be like, I'm not going to work out today. But it's not if you have a scheduled appointment with a trainer. I mean, I have a 24-hour notice cancellation policy because if I didn't, you know how many times people would cancel on me? And it just makes you be accountable to have that appointment time. So I would have to say I would highly suggest a personal trainer because, like you said, you don't know the right form and the right way to do things. And it is important, just how I was explaining the pain-free and how I train. It does matter what things you do in order and how you do it. So I do feel like it would be the best thing to work with someone that does know that,
So with your new app that's hopefully going to come out in June, that's something where, we can essentially have you as a trainer from anywhere.
Yes. So there'll be different options. There'll be programs like specifically like strength, whatever, different ones, that you can just do for like a lesser price. But if you actually wanted, and this is communicating with me writing your workouts, us having a phone call and me knowing, you telling me what you want, because obviously we all have different goals. And then that way I cater it to you and it's not just a basic program. And then definitely like you'll be able to video yourself. Like if you're doing something and you're unsure if your form is right, you can video yourself and then put it in the app and then I get to see it and then I can correct your form. So I do think that that's important. I mean, it's just nice to work with someone one-on-one.
I think it's a game changer.
Yeah, I really do.
I mean, it's cool to have someone who's thought out a really thoughtful plan. But then the next level, to have someone who's helping you achieve the best version of yourself, which is my goal in all of it. I just want to be able to walk through my life as the best version of whatever this is going to be.
Yeah.
And a lot of that I've come to realize isn't just what I'm lifting or the weights or the reps. It's how do I feel about myself?
Mm-hmm.
And some of that also has to do with dealing with stress. Some of it, sometimes I wonder, like when my libido dips, I'm like, oh God, is this the perimenopause? Is this just being overwhelmed with life? Is it, and then the minute I work out, I'm like, bing.
Yeah.
It makes such a huge difference.
You can have the crappiest morning and then work out and everything is so much better. But you're like releasing endorphins too while you're working out. And going back to what you said a second ago, so I have a program, it's called Unleashed Potential, and it's a 12-week coaching program basically for you to get in tune with your body. And then we seeing what foods work for you. But also in the program, it's what are you saying to yourself in the mirror when you look in the mirror? Because that is so important. If you're saying negative things, especially as moms, that's going to flow into you being a mom. That's going to flow into you being a wife. So it is so important to speak positivity to yourself. And I think that's because we even said it earlier, a lot of times we don't do that because we're hard on ourselves, So I just think that working out, a lot of people underestimate what they can do. And then again, having a coach, having a trainer can kind of show you, you can go do a little bit more than that, You want to grab the 15s, we're going to grab the 20s today. Because, you're going to take the easy way out a lot of times when you're on your own. But I just feel like confidence comes from doing hard things. And I feel like lifting weights is hard. And I also feel like people that work out, it just sets them a little bit different from everybody else because they are in the gym and they're working hard. And a lot of people don't do that. And I just feel it just gives you that confidence that we need to.
Yep. I think that's exactly right. I mean, if I'm being really honest, my fitness goal is to become my hottest self. And even if it doesn't look that way, I want to feel that way.
Yeah.
And I feel every day, I feel like I'm not. I'm doing what I can. I could be doing more. Honestly, I need to be more disciplined. Probably with sugar and getting in enough protein, less sugar, more protein.
Yeah.
Enough protein, hitting my requirements.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's vain.
I don't think so. I mean, because I always think about men are very visual, and I want my man looking at me and not somebody else. And I think that's how we all women feel that way that have a husband. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think men are going to find it attractive when they see us working hard at doing that too. And then, I want my husband to think I'm hot. I don't want him looking at another woman. You know what I mean? So, I think to what I just said, I just really think that men, when they see us working hard at it, I think they find that attractive too. So, and I don't think it's wrong for us to want to feel good in our skin.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you notice that with some of your clients, or especially the clients who are kind of on the older end of the spectrum? I've seen it like this. They talk about this invisibility that happens, especially among women who are kind of not elderly even, but just kind of older and feeling like people don't see them anymore.
Oh, yeah. I've never had one where I got that vibe, I feel like. But I do get what you're saying for sure. I think the older women just want to be strong.
Yeah.
You know, like if they fall, they don't want to break something. But then I'm sitting here and I can think of one lady in particular, she's older, but her husband still makes comments, if her booty's looking good or if she's getting some definition, you know what I mean? A man is going to be a man. And if they see something, they're going to say something. But I really do think that it's really just being, and I think a majority of the clients want to feel good in their skin, and you feel good when you work out. It makes you feel good in your skin. So that's definitely a plus for that.
Perfect. Stephanie, thank you so much for making the time.
Thanks, Christine. Yeah, loved it.
If you enjoyed this conversation, please follow us on YouTube and hit the bell so you never miss an episode. And if you've been listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, we'd love it if you'd follow the show. iHuman is brought to you by Grip, the world's first slow-release protein bar. Learn more at gripbar.com. Thanks for listening.